What's up, YouTube? So, guys, again, I'm going to be bringing you content in this form sometimes. And so, we're going to be talking about the story of Sean, who is the dad, and Tashaka, who is the mom of their 12-year-old son. And Sean was just recently awarded custody of their 12-year-old son. And this has been a multi-years long battle. The long and short of it is that Tashaka came on my channel, made a lot of, false comments, false allegations about Sean and how he was still being abusive towards her and all this stuff. Now, in all fairness, he had been physically abusive to her 12 years ago when she was pregnant. That's how she ended up in the program that she ended up in, where she got a house. It was a HUD house. She was living out here in Metro Atlanta in Cobb County in I believe it was a 3 or 4 bedroom house. She was paying under $400 a month for it. So she had a real nice situation going. And the long and short of it is that she left that house. And that's how she ended up being on my channel. I met her out at one of the homeless resource centers, Gateway. So she comes on my channel. She tells the story about how the father of her 12-year-old, at the time, I think he was 9 or 10. The father of her 10-year-old is basically being abusive towards her, stalking her, and she had to run away from her house in order to evade him. Okay. Well, turns out, because that video had a few spins. I think Boosie reposted it on Facebook at the time. So it had kind of gone viral. And so it turns out the dad, Sean, got in touch with me and let me know. He showed me paperwork and everything, that all that was BS. And that what actually happened was she didn't want to comply with the court order. Okay, with the court-ordered custody agreement or parental agreement, where they were supposed to split time. Basically, he was just coming in, I think every week or every other week. He basically had, from I think Friday to Sunday type deal. And he had to use his gas and drive down and all that stuff. And he did it a bunch of times, and she would basically not answer the door. So he eventually got the police involved, and they came and knocked on the door. She still wouldn't answer the door. So when they went to court, she was found guilty of not adhering to the court order. So she picked up the very next day, withdrew her son from school, and left the house for fear of being arrested on a warrant. That's how she ended up leaving the house. A perfectly fine house that, she was paying a very good monthly amount for. Okay, very low monthly amount. And she left because she didn't want to give him just a little bit of time with their son. Okay, that's how she ended up on my channel. Like I say, Sean got in touch with me. We ended up interviewing. He had to come down here several more times. So basically, when he saw her on the channel, okay, at that point, he had given up. It had been I think it had been a year and change since the last time that he saw his son. And so he was dejected. He had pretty much given up. Okay. But God. But God. All right. And he saw them on my channel, and that reinvigorated his spirit. And he got in touch with me and everything else, and got back in touch with his lawyer and started making it happen. And so here we are 2 years later. Like I say, he just got custody. So we're going to take a look at this whole journey. It's been a 2-year journey. They have, in all transparency, they have spent the night in my house several times. When I say they, I mean him and his wife. And the very first time they came, it was him, his wife, and Tashaka's mother. The young lady's mom is on Sean's side in this whole ordeal. They all came down. They all interviewed. Well, not the wife, but they came down. Sean and the mom interviewed. Those are up on the channel right now. And so, yeah, the long and short of it is that it was a 2-year battle. I went, above and beyond with this story, guys. I actually testified in the proceedings. I was in court on the stand testifying. Obviously, you know that I'm an advocate for dads being in their kids' life. And so, listen, man, this, like I say, I feel like I'm here to make the small adjustments that are going to make a huge impact on people's lives, right? And so let's take a look and see kind of how this journey is played out. All right, let's see what's going on.
Question is this.
What's up, YouTube? Thank you for
Y'all remember the
liking,
old intros?
subscribing, and sharing.
It's
Listen,
almost
if
2
you
years
want to
ago.
support the channel financially, hit the super thanks button. Any amount is much appreciated. Now back to the content.
What's up, YouTube? Atlanta Street Interviews out here with another one. So we got a young lady out here today. How you doing today, miss?
I'm doing all right.
All right, all right. So are you homeless?
I am.
Okay. How old are you?
I'm 40.
You're 40?
Yes, I am.
Jesus Christ. All right. Now I say this all the time, but you look great. I definitely did not expect you to say 40.
Thank you.
Man, that's some black don't crack. All
Glory
right.
be to God.
I'll tell you what. Okay. So you're 40. So I see you got the kids out here. I see I got a little fella over there. He's a little,
So when I just pointed out little fella, imagine this from the dad's perspective. That's his first time seeing his son in almost, I think, a year, 2 years, something like that. That's his first time seeing his son is on some random guy's YouTube channel, just out of nowhere, right? Imagine that.
so that I can keep an eye on him. And so, how long have you been homeless?
Going on about 6 months now.
Okay. So what was it that happened 6 months ago that caused you to become homeless?
Well, we've been kind of forced out of our home, like a domestic violence situation. My son's oldest father has been harassing me and my family, and we're just afraid to go home. We just been out trying to get legal help and trying to just stay safe.
Okay, so now, Pete, what she's saying. My son's oldest father has been harassing us, and we're afraid to go home, and we're out here seeking legal help and to stay safe. So she's painting this picture like this horrible man is coming down here, this guy that's, I guess, mad about something, right? He's coming down here and he's harassing them, and they're so scared to be harassed by this guy that they left their home. Okay, now again, I'm just now doing the when I did the interview, I was just doing it live, and so I couldn't put all this together yet, and I hadn't talked to Dad, obviously. But looking back on it, it's crazy because she was saying everything without saying what it actually was. So
Okay. All right. I'm sorry to hear about that. And so you said that your oldest son's father?
Yes. So
Okay, so
we in a it's been a long ongoing domestic violence situation. I currently moved here 9 years ago with my 9-year-old. I was pregnant with him. I moved here homeless and pregnant. I moved out of our home into a domestic violence shelter to where I had to move to Georgia. I tried to forgive him and take him back so he could be in his son's life once I had the baby, but once again, it was still a domestic situation. So at this point, I'm just like, hey, you have to leave us and just leave our family alone. But from that point, we've just been in a really bad situation where we can't even be at home and be safe because him and his wife come and they harass us. They even have the cops on their side to harass us. They even kidnapped my son from school. So we just in a real unsafe situation, and we just trying to get the best legal help that we need and to be.
So go back now to where she said him and his wife harass us. Now, of course, hold on. Okay. All right. Now, of course, that was the first red flag. That was the first red flag is that why would him and his wife come down and harass you about what? Is he mad about you not being with him because he's married? That doesn't make any sense. So that was my first red flag, but let's keep listening.
Be able to be back in our home or be in a home soon. I have a new baby I just had, have a 1-year-old and my 9-year-old.
Okay. The new baby and the 1-year-old, different dads, the same dad?
They have different dad.
So this was a miscommunication right here because she said they have different dad, but she meant different from the guy that we was talking about. But they actually have the same dad, who, by the way, she has paperwork on for being domestically violent. So when she said that it was ongoing domestic violence. When she said that she tried to take him back and then it was still a domestic situation, notice she didn't say that she tried to take him back and he was domestically violent again. She didn't say that. She's very, very, very careful with her words. Which the long and short of it is that there was no domestic violence anytime after when she had the baby. So the domestic violence occurred when she was pregnant, and obviously that's not a good thing. But that was over 12 years ago. He's got to be allowed to grow. This is actually a cougar situation because I believe she's like maybe 5 or 6, maybe 7 years older than him. So when they got together, he was in his early 20s and she was like in her late 20s. Okay, when they got together. I think he was maybe 22, something like that. He was a young guy. So it's not to say that, a young guy shouldn't be responsible, but it's to say that you got to be able to give him a little bit of slack and to say that he's never done it again. So she's kind of using the one situation and she's dragging it on to basically try to use that to not allow her son and her father to have a relationship. Her son and his father to have a relationship. Okay, that's what's going on here. But let's skip ahead if we can.
1-year-old's dead?
Well, because of our babies have the same father, we've been together.
Oh,
for 5 years.
okay. That's why I was asking. Did they have different?
Oh, no.
Okay. So
they
this
all
is
have
the same guy.
So
Okay.
he came into his life when he was 4 and a half. So he's been his dad as well since baby. But yeah, it's the same father for these 2 kids right here.
Okay. And so you guys are in a relationship, but he's kind of like almost tapped out. He's almost
tapped out from all of the pressure. I just wish someone could help him as well.
What type of job does he have?
He's been at the Waffle House for 9 years. He's a chef manager, master cook there. So he's been there for a while.
Okay. And so when was the last time you worked?
I've been on maternity leave for about, she's 3 months now. So I've been on maternity leave for about 3 months, 3.5 months.
Okay. And so are you currently, what is his beef? Because you say he's got a wife now.
Yeah.
So it doesn't sound like it's that he wants to be with you per se. But if I ask him, what is his beef?
Yeah.
No, I'm asking you.
What is it?
Yeah, if I were to ask him what his issue is, what his problem is, what would be his response?
Honestly, he probably wouldn't tell you the truth. I think it's because he's trying to get out of child support that he never paid, and it's a jealous situation because he never had the problem where we told him, hey, you can't see your son, don't call our phone. Actually, my 2 babies' fathers here, he spoke with them, several times, like, hey, you can always call us, you can always meet up, let's just do what we need to do to be the, the fathers for this young man right here. But instead of him taking it like a good thing, he took it negative and just we let him get our son on. The last time he had him was last year, spring break. We let him get him. He had him for the whole week. When it was time to return him, he didn't want to return him. He made us miss work 2 days, made him miss school 2 days, made us drive outside of the meeting distance that the judge had agreed that we supposed to agree to.
Right.
And when we showed up, he had us served saying that we harassed him. But clearly the proof was all in my phone because I always.
So you see, when they showed up, you see who was served. So she was served. So, obviously she tells the story in such a way like, oh, we have no problem letting him get the son and all this stuff. That's a lie. That's a lie. I've seen all the text messages. I've heard the communications. They were treacherous. They would do everything they could to keep that young boy away from him. And the guy, I think his name, they call him Pat. I forget what his real name is. He ain't no better. As a black man, you sitting here allowing this woman to play every trick in the book to not allow her son to be in his father's life. That's disgusting. That's disgusting. Okay. And I've kind of, I've given him some stern looks because I've seen him in person. I've kind of mean mugged him a little bit to let him know like what you're doing is disgusting. Okay, and so we got to stick together, black man. We got to stick together. Black people in general, we got to stick together. And we got to make sure that we're making the best decision for the kids. Okay. No matter how you feel about the other person, this kid needs to, have a relationship with their biological parent 9 times out of 10. 9 times out of 10, if not, even if that parent is a little toxic, this, that, and the third, which that's not the case here. In fact, it's the opposite. The mom, as you're going to see, is the one that ended up being real toxic. Even if the parent is toxic, though, that kid needs to have some type of ability to have a relationship with that parent. And then, as they get older, they can decide what level of relationship they want to have with them. But there doesn't need to be a situation where they have this undying curiosity about their biological parent that they can't satisfy, because that's almost like torture. Okay. So, all right. So you see kind of what type of time she's on. So let's get to dad
Feel
came.
confident your taxes are done right with TurboTax Live Experts. 100.
Right now, it sounds like you don't have the ability to even protect him
at all
from this guy.
So we talk about protecting them. Basically, like I said, the guy that she's with currently is the one that she has domestic violence charges, or she may have had him dropped by now, but the paperwork is there. Okay. They showed me the paperwork. He's the one that actually has charges on him. So it really sucks that she tries to paint this guy to be the domestic violent one, but it's actually the guy that she's currently with and has 2 small children with. But yeah, let's kind of see what this whole deal was about.
One of my students landed multiple 6-figure jobs in cybersecurity within just 90 days without a degree or previous.
So if she gets in touch with me later, I'll definitely reach out. But I know you guys are gonna be.
So at this point, I was still kind of cool with her, so I was hoping that she would reach back out to me. But the way that their kind of small town works, once him and his wife and their mom drove down here to Atlanta, the phone started buzzing all around town and all around the family or whatever. And, she caught wind of the fact that they came down here, and she figured they came down here to kind of link up with me and do an interview. So at that point, she wasn't really going to pick up for me or whatever. But yeah, the long and short of it is that they came down here to interview with me. Like I said before, it got late at night. So, I didn't want them driving back to North Carolina. It was like past midnight. We did the interviews up on the rooftop. So, there was a party going on at the time. Everybody kind of had a few drinks or whatever. So, it was him and his wife and Tashaka's mom. And I have a 2-bedroom. So, and the kids was not living with me at the time. So, I let them come and stay. The kids stay. At that time, they would come on the weekends, but this was in the middle of the week. Okay. So, I didn't mind kind of allowing them to stay here. And, again, I'm here to help a dad have his son in his life. That's the ultimate goal here, right? So let's see what he had to say. This is after everybody had sent him the video. Again, they live in a kind of small town, so it got around real fast. So now he's like, man, I haven't seen my son in so long. I saw him on this video. Let me get down here, tell my side, because Boosie done reposted the story and everybody thinks I'm this horrible guy. So let me get down here and tell my side.
Be headed back soon to North Carolina, man. So, if there's any message that you just want to give.
And by the way, yes, I shot the initial interview with him on the rooftop, but it was, like I said, it was about 50 minutes, an hour, something like that. So I wanted to do a condensed version, which is why we did it the next morning here. But the moms, Tashaka's mom's, her interview is on the rooftop, and that is on, I don't know if it's still on members only. I don't think it is, or at least there's a clip of it that's not. So you go back and you probably have to hunt for it, but it's about a year, almost 2 years ago. So you can check that out.
Give her right now, man. Just say whatever's on your heart, man.
Hey, I'm just trying to be a dad. Like, don't do this to me. Don't, like, why take my opportunity to be a father to my son away to where I had to fight, go to every step legally that I can.
That man had to drive down here no less than 8, 9, 10 times from North Carolina to Cobb County. He's not rich. I've seen him come in multiple different cars which means that this car, that car might have broke down along the way. You know, they have to spend hotel money every time they come. So this is a burden just to be able to have the time that the judge already granted you with your son. So the judge already granted you this parenting agreement that was supposed to be in place. She broke the agreement, and now you have to spend all type of money, all type of time, all type of wear and tear of your car, all type of stress with you and your wife. It costs you all that just to get something that the judge already ordered. You already spent lawyer money. You already took went through the whole court process, and now you're having to do extra because she could just say, "Oh, I'm just not going to follow the court order," and then you have to now do all this stuff. So,
and now for you to go and just portray me out to be, it hurts. Like, it really do. It really do. He don't deserve it. He don't deserve to be homeless right now. He got a room in my house right now, ready. He's not homeless, so let me get my son.
What's up, YouTube? Become a member of the channel.
Shout
Click
out
the
to
join
the-
button.
Shout out to the OG introduction, man. Shout out to the OG. This is when I first had my memberships become available in June 2022. This video was actually in July, but this is one of the OG intros, man. So y'all hear the voices even a little bit different.
You're going to get access to exclusive content,
Oh,
more
no.
updates, post-interview reactions, and the lost tapes that never made it to YouTube. Click the join button. Become part of the family. Now back to the content.
What's up, YouTube? Atlanta Street Interviews out here with another one. So we got a pretty special interview today, guys. So we had a young lady a week ago who, you know, was saying that she was fleeing from her, the father of her 9-year-old. I see you got the kids out here. I see you got a little fella over there. He's a little, you know, so that I can keep an eye on him. And so, you know, how long have you been homeless?
We're going on about 6 months now.
Okay. So what was it that happened 6 months ago that caused you to become homeless?
Well, we've been kind of forced out of our home, like a domestic violence situation. My son's oldest father has been
All right, so we just heard this, so we're going to comment.
This is the story of how Pipedrive can accelerate your business
Give us a
growth.
second. I ain't got
Automating.
YouTube Premium.
I mean, so, you know, how old are you, man?
I'm 34.
You're 34, so you're younger than her.
Yes, I am. Yeah.
Okay. It's by 6 years.
Right.
All right. And so when did y'all first meet?
I first met her in like 2006. I was like 18. She was like 24, 25. It was like after
So when they first met, he was 18, she was 24, 25.
Katrina and stuff like that. And my godparents actually stayed in North Carolina.
So where you from? I'm sorry to interrupt, but where you from, man?
Yeah, I'm from Kentwood, Louisiana.
Okay. So you're from Louisiana. Hey, man, shout out Kentwood, Louisiana, man. Shout out the whole Louisiana. You know, they know I love New Orleans. And all right, so anyway, man, so okay, so you guys met at you were 18, she was 24, 25.
Yes, sir.
And so that was in North Carolina.
Yeah, but it's like we talked over
We're
the
going
phone.
to kind of skip
This is you
past
guys' relationship then.
Actually,
And so you had the child in, I guess, 2012, 2013, somewhere around that.
2012.
Okay. And so what was the circumstances of you guys' relationship then?
Actually, while she was pregnant, we actually separated, and she went to Atlanta while she was pregnant, like she stated.
And so you said that your oldest son's father?
Yeah.
Okay, so
we in it's been a ongoing domestic violence situation.
That was our relationship then, and
that was due to a domestic violence situation, right?
correct.
Okay. All right. Okay. And so she came down to Atlanta. She said at some point you guys tried to link back up and, you know, try to, you know, make it work as a family type deal when the child's about 4 years old or so.
I tried to forgive him and take him back so he could be in his son's life once I
Like 3 months old, and after that, he basically like I tried to be there for my son, and we tried to make it, you know, work. But from 2012, from him being born, we got back together in 2015, like you said, when he was like 4, he was 3 actually.
Yeah.
And from like 2015 to 2016, and that was our last interactions in the relationship.
All right. And so, was there any domestic violence during that time period? The
only one
2015,
incident,
16?
And that was in 2012, April the 20th.
Okay, so that was the only incident. Because I'd asked her about that. You know, did she call the police again or have any paperwork or anything like that? And she didn't necessarily have that because she was saying it was ongoing domestic violence.
But other than that, I did call the police any other time.
Domestic violence. And so I'm asking that after the incident you're talking about where you had to go to the domestic violence shelter, that was when his 9-year-old was first born, right?
Yeah.
So in between then and now, did you call the police? Well, how many domestic violence incidents occurred in between then and now?
Okay, so yeah, it's been several, and so the last one was last year when I called the police for our protection to serve me, as if I was harassing him.
She was pregnant.
No, sir. There was no other instances. Like when she was even answering the question, like she wasn't specific. She said it was ongoing domestic violence. But what did I do? Did I hit you? Did I slap you? Did I kick you? Did I go to jail? Did you go to the hospital? You know, 'cause like I'm a big guy, and you know, she's
I'm about
small.
to say, how tall are you, man?
I'm 6'3".
Okay, yeah.
If I physically abuse you, like you said, then why haven't I went to jail for it? Why haven't why you don't have medical
I get
records?
it. We get it. So I mean, so the long and short is that.
So we're gonna skip ahead.
her
guys,
first
so
child with him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Second child. Yeah.
Right.
this is
Produce paperwork.
Yes, sir.
You produced several pieces of paperwork. One of them was showing that the guy that she's actually with now is the domestic abuser.
Yes.
That she's actually, had a case against him. That he actually abused her while your son was in the house.
Yes, sir.
And so he had got this was actually while she was pregnant.
Yes.
With her first child. I mean, her first child with him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Second child. Yeah.
Right.
So let me see if I can skip a little bit in this, guys.
To go live in a hotel
Homeless
when you
shelter.
already have a house.
Right. It just didn't make sense to me, and I'm pretty sure it makes sense to a lot of other people as well. But it's like there are people that are really out here homeless. Like we in Atlanta, there's people sleeping under the bridge, the people that's on the streets, and it's dads that's out here that's really trying to be fathers for their children.
So basically, I mean, because she has, I guess, a warrant out.
Yeah, she has.
And I mean, and she was alluding to that. She was alluding to that in the interview.
And then I had an officer.
You have a room and a place for him to stay?
Yeah, man. He been having his own room ever since I moved to North Carolina. And
so he's got a home. He's got a roof that.
So okay, so you get the gist of it, guys. So the long and short of it, okay, is that he came down, told his side, had paperwork, all that stuff. So obviously at that point, I felt like, man, this lady has just literally come on my platform and just lied and tried to use it to gain some type of sympathy from folks, and that's not cool. That's not cool because you're keeping your son, who you claim to love, you're keeping his relationship with his dad on ice, and that's not okay. And she was in complete control of this, to the point where she left a perfectly fine house just to avoid having to give in to the court's orders and to what we all know is right. Okay, we can see Sean isn't some bad guy or anything like that. Okay, he's just a normal blue collar, regular working guy. All right. So let's take a look real quick. We're gonna just tap into this one. So this is just one of the
Amazing
things.
helps Anthony through
This is
night
one of the
classes.
times,
Amazing
when I got
starts at
footage that
CSL Plasma.
y'all did
Donate
see
plasma
this footage.
today and receive
But
up to
there's a lot of
$700
other
your
footage
first
like
month.
this
You can
footage
help create
that actually
medicines that
put in the
save
court
lives while making a
during the
difference
court
in your own.
proceedings that,
CSL Plasma.
I'm not
can
going to
be
show y'all
amazing.
because I might get in trouble for showing it. I actually got
Running in
caught one
Lululemon
time
feels
by
familiar.
the judge. I got
Comfortable,
caught by the judge
supportive,
trying to
and
record
free.
in the courtroom.
On my best
He
run,
didn't get
it
mad,
doesn't
you know,
even feel like I'm
he just
moving,
told me to stop
and you
recording.
feel like you could go for days.
But yeah, we went deep with this one, guys. So all right, so let's see what we got going on.
Nobody. We just asked for Jabari. So how, if he don't go to that school, how?
So what we're looking at here is Basically, we had went around all day, okay, trying to kind of blindside them, right? They didn't tell anybody they was coming in town. This was several months after they came in to do their interview. And, they basically came in and tried to, blitz the situation. Tried to see if the school that they thought he would go to, if they could check him out and do that type of stuff. When that didn't work, because they basically confirmed that he was at the school, but they wouldn't check him out to him. Even though Sean had the paperwork showing that he had custody and everything else, they wouldn't check him out to him. So we ended up going to the school board. We went to the sheriff's office. We went to some other official, board or whatever, APS, I think. Long story short, we went all over the town, and to no avail. We was exhausted that day, and so we came back. Again, this is at my apartment, and we're talking. This conversation is with Tashaka's sister. Now, Tashaka's sister is who we suspect Tashaka had been staying with at this point. And that's whose address they use to sign the son up at the school that, by the way, happened to be literally right across the street from the apartments that she lived in. It was literally right across the street, not even diagonal, right directly across the street. Okay. So that's what's going on here. So let's take a look and kind of take a look at what that conversation consists.
I ain't heard from nobody almost an hour. Listen to the recorder talking about I'm lying. The facts don't add up. When he been brung in on two different stories, he don't even know all the facts. He only know what's been said.
Well, does he go to that school or not? Right. See, well, the fact that you can't answer it straight up, it's just a straight up yes or no.
Okay, listen, Nene, I don't want you to get so upset with him. You know the reason why he here, because your sister. Yeah, like you calling us now. We didn't go to the school to ask for nobody. We just asked for Jabari. So how, if he don't go to that school, how did the school get in contact with her?
So basically what happened was they went to the school, they asked for Jamari, okay? Somehow, Tashaka, who is the mom, ended up getting a phone call that, hey, these folks are trying to check out your son. And so then the phone call got back around to the sister. That's when the sister called them. And so, it's obvious that he goes to that school, because if not, how did they get in touch with Tashaka to say, hey, this guy's trying to check your son out or whatever? Or why would they get in touch with her? So there you go.
What's up, YouTube? Go ahead and smash that like button. Also, if you like the video, share. It helps to spread it in the algorithm. Now, back to the content.
I think that was like my favorite intro, that back to the. I need to do that again. I like that intro.
All right. So what happened?
So they saying that this order is.
And by the way, man, shout out to Sean's wife, Danita, man. She is, man, you talk about a throwback. You talk about a ride or die. Just, you talk about, listen, man, this is a wife right here, okay? She rides with her husband. She ain't, got to be in the front or nothing like that, but she's just a rider, man. She's a rider, a super cool, super dope person. So, man, shout out to Danita, man. I know I don't, give her a shout out on these situations enough, but she is the person that's been there with Sean through this whole ordeal and has given him nothing but love and support. So shout out to her. And she's been, she tries to be the peacemaker and the person that brings everybody together in the situation. So, man, listen, shout out to her.
Expired, and that we would need to go through the APS to get them to get the enrollment information as far as the school, because by this order, they can't go further with the protocol of giving the information or going through the next steps due to this order.
So basically, the way that the order was written, it only specified that the action of, basically him getting custody or them taking her in, that according to the order, it was ordered in Cobb County, and there was no language that said that it extended beyond Cobb County. So because the police had got called to the elementary school, right? And when the police looked at the order, that's the verdict that they gave, was that, well, it's here, but it basically says that this has to be executed in Cobb County, and it doesn't give permission to execute outside of Cobb County. So that's what she's talking about right here.
Which they saying it's expired. So she said we need to go through the APS.
Does it have like an expiration date on there? Does it have a date?
So I'm gonna skip forward real quick because I just kind of explained.
Cobb County, and now we're here
in APS
in Atlanta. So it's like now they gave me the phone call to be able to talk to someone in the school board to be able to locate this and validate my paperwork and stuff like that, because it specifically says Cobb County, but that was the last school that my son was in. And immediately the next day after court, we went to court October 28th, October 29th, she withdrew him from school, and that's the last that the last school knew about, and she never requested records. So it's like she tried to, she's being very crafty and slick.
Understanding how the system works and how to maneuver around it.
Because that was the way I got my son last time, through the school system.
So she knew better this time. She learned a lesson.
There you go.
So, okay, so let's do this. Let's shoot right up to Trinity Avenue and go right up to APS, the school board.
All right, let's go.
Let's go. All right.
Do not let them raise your rates.
As you see,
I used to fall victim to outrageous insurance prices. I believe there was nothing I could do every time they raised my rate.
Yeah, man. Like I was like, shit,
and
let's go.
I've been loyal to the same provider for years.
What someone up there had to say. And so that's what we did. You see, it says went everywhere: APS student records, school board, Fulton County Sheriff's Department, talked to his lawyer, went back up to the school. Like you can imagine, a day's worth of running around. Basically all for nothing.
If Cobb County Sheriff's Office can contact Atlanta, then they can get them to
so let's not do that. So the long and short of it, guys, is that nothing got accomplished that day. You saw some of the phone call afterwards. It got real heated because the sister didn't want to admit that the little fella was going to that elementary school. And so, you could definitely take a look at that. That video is, and this is all in the playlist, guys, on my channel. Is called Dad Needs Help or something like that. And so this video is called The Hunt for Jamari, right? So you can definitely take a look at that full video. But I'm going to show y'all kind of what some of this outcome was. Okay, so let's see if we can go here and let's see. We'll go to my channel. And we'll go ahead and put this down. So it should be on a live. Let's see. Had to be about a month ago. Oh, okay, it's this one right here. Okay. Shout out to Sonny, man. Sonny was with me that day.
So, we're over in the boys section of H&M. H&M always has kind of like cool stuff or whatever. So we're going to see what's good or whatnot, right? So, we're going to take y'all along the little trip with us, and we're going to see what happens, man. We're going to get them.
So basically what happened was, because, again, I've got footage from the courtroom, but I don't think I can show it, and I don't want to get in trouble. So the long and short of it is that, what happened? Over the course of about a year, they came down here about 5 or 6 times to different court dates. At first, Tashaka was ignoring the court dates. She subsequently was arrested and put in jail until the next court date, which was about 10 days away. So she spent about 10 days in jail. And, Sean and his wife came down for the court date. They let her out of jail to do court. And it was ordered that he basically would get temporary partial custody. Okay, so in other words, he was allowed to have the visitation that he was already ordered to have. But because it had been so long, they wanted to ease it in. They didn't want to just, put him on the little boy and it's just like this shock, right? So that's what they did, and they appointed a guardian ad litem, which is basically someone that's going to come in, assess both households, and act in the best interest of the child. Okay? So the lady went up to North Carolina. She assessed Sean and his wife, their house, their situation, everything else. She did the same thing to Tashaka and her household and their situation. And the conclusion that she came back with is very startling. Is very startling. Okay, it didn't startle me, of course. I figured it'd be something like this, but yeah, she basically granted full custody, not half and half or anything like that. She granted full custody to Sean, and she recommended that Tashaka undergo mental evaluations. She recommended that Tashaka undergo mental evaluations. So this is what we've all known. She's been acting very erratic, very crazy. Let's just say it, right? Definitely not in the best interest of the child, who chooses to be homeless simply for the sake of not cooperating with the co-parenting agreement that the courts have ordered. That is technically in your favor. It's not like there was a week on, week off or anything like that. It was like he had to drive down here. He had to drive down here from North Carolina to basically spend time with his son every other weekend. Now you want to know what the order is? For the first 30 days, she was to have pretty much no contact. Then after that, she gets, I think she gets 2 or 3 nights a week on the phone for like 15 minutes. And every other weekend, she comes up and has supervised visits at her mom's house. Every other weekend. She has to drive her car up to North Carolina. So had she just complied with the initial order, she would be in an advantageous position. Sean would be happy enough because he's in his kid's life and has an opportunity to build that relationship. But this is what happened when you go too far. You go too far. And so, the live, we ended up, let me see if I can kind of go a little bit further right here. I'm talking about Josh, man.
Video that you repost.
All right.
Well, listen, man, we really.
All right. So at this point, I think we hadn't made it to the barbershop yet, but
Thank you, Queen Spirit.
yeah, this is when we're purchasing the clothes or whatever.
We're at H&M, and the whole thing was, brother. So
why did we end up at H&M? Because basically a kid had just got ripped away from his mom, right, in his eyes, and given custody was awarded to the dad, whom he hasn't had the opportunity to build the closest relationship with, right? He loves his dad, of course, but he hasn't been around him a whole lot, just to be frank, right? And that's no fault of Sean, and it's all the fault of Tashaka. And so he was basically going to be going up to North Carolina, going to a new school with new kids, and frankly, he didn't have like a lot of cool clothes and a cool haircut or anything like that. Up to that point, he had been getting bullied in school because Tashaka had him with these dreads, but they were kind of not well taken care of, and so they look kind of nasty or whatever. And so he had recently got a haircut, but it wasn't recent enough to where it was looking sharp. So I felt like, well, if this kid's going to be going to a new school, it's going to be around new kids, he needs to have a haircut, right? Look nice and sharp and crisp. But then he also probably needs a couple new threads, right? Some new clothes, some new shoes. So that's what we went and did. We went and got him some clothes from H&M, and we went and bought some shoes from the Athlete's Foot, so that at the very least, his first week or two, he could feel a little more comfortable than if he was just going there in kind of his old clothes. And you know how kids are. They gonna joan, they gonna roast, they gonna do all that stuff. So that's basically what happened, man. So I hope that y'all enjoyed this kind of somewhat replay, kind of explanation of what happened. I want to salute to Sean. My brother, it took me way longer to get this video out than it should have. So I do apologize for that. And so, but obviously, I'm here for full support of you. I'm really happy that you're able to get custody of your son That's a big deal. It's another what I consider victory for the channel. Guys, we putting points on the board, man. We putting points on the board. Like, the bottom line is that if he hadn't seen his son on this platform, he may not have had that invigorated energy to kind of get back into the court system and, you know, kind of really get back in touch with his lawyer and really start making it happen to the point to where now he actually has full custody of his son. All right, so listen, man, we're going to keep on doing what we do. I appreciate y'all tapping in as always. Y'all make sure y'all go check out the B-side, Atlanta Street Interviews B-side. Man, we are doing a thing over there. If you love Josiah's updates, that's where all of them are going to be moving forward. So definitely make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that notification button, so when I drop, you get that notification, all right? Listen, man, love y'all as always. Appreciate you. We out of here.